Welcome back to the Patient Man channel. Chris O on the beach, having a wander. She's pretty rough today. The seas are pretty rough. That's all right. We still love it. We still love it rough. Anyway, move on with that. Today's subject, everybody, is, it's the first time I'm reading it because I want to make it nice and raw. Topic: purpose after sport or career ends. Very interesting. Purpose after sport or career ends. Now you can interpret that as you may. Me, I haven't really had a career, let's say working career. I've done lots of different jobs. So career, I can say career, working life career, and then for sport, well, that's the one I identify with. And I will give you my outlook on that. So when I was a wee lad, when I was a little young fella, I was a very high energetic little fella who found a lot of peace in sport. It was something I was quite good at, naturally. So I stuck to it, and it was really, really good. It was good for me. It was good for my mental health at the time. And I fell into a lot of different sports. I played cricket, swimmer, athletics, footy, Aussie rules, AFL, the proper one. Sorry everyone who loves rugby, but nah. And later on in my later years, I started to really pinpoint and focus on what I really thought suited me and what I enjoyed thoroughly, and it was AFL, Aussie rules. Now, being like I used to be as a kid, I used to get very hyper fixated on things, and I become, I wouldn't say obsessive, but no, I'd say obsessive. Became obsessive about certain things, and Aussie rules was my thing. I just loved it. I used to sit down every Friday night and I'd watch the first game of the week, and I'd put my footy shorts on and get my water bottle out, and I'd sit there and drink my water like I was literally getting ready for a game. I'd prep to watch. I'd prep to watch footy like I was prepping for a game. So think of that as how that is. It's pretty interesting. But that's the way I used to love it so much. So that was, for me, it became my only thing, which is fine. And as I got older and I became better at it, and physically more able and getting stronger, and knowing that I was becoming a better player, I loved it. Just kept going as hard as I could at it, and that was it. That was all my full identification was Aussie rules. Now, time went on, and we all know that bodies move on. I had my first reconstruction on my ACL when I was 16, and then I gave up on sport for a year or two. I found alcohol, and finally found my way back to sport again, AFL, Aussie rules, and had a really, really good crack at it this time. Had more injuries. I had the absolute pleasure, and I had the luck of a friend, a local friend, who gave me an opportunity to go down and try out for the VFL for Collingwood, which was a real honour because I was very lost at that stage. So being able to have the opportunity to showcase some of the talents I thought I had, and I did. I took the opportunity. I stopped drinking, and I went down there, and I got on the rookie list of the VFL. Now that was the biggest feat for me. That was so amazing, feeling like I was a part of something. still, one of the coolest experiences. But had a shoulder reconstruction there, and then after my shoulder reconstruction, I got delisted, or I got dropped off the list. I wouldn't say delisted, I wasn't that high up to get delisted, but... And then I went on to play a game or two of Ovens and Murray, which was really, really good. It was such a great league, and I was so fit from my pre-season. And then I had another right knee blowout, my opposite knee. And then that was starting to get towards the end of my tether with injuries, and all the injuries I had were quite big ones. So I started to realise that footy was not always going to be there, and I was going to lose it eventually. And that hurt a lot. That hurt a lot because there was so much heavy identification with Aussie rules that I knew my time was coming, and I had to pick another sport because I just couldn't keep hurting myself like that, or getting hurt, unluckily. So when I did make the decision to move on, I couldn't do it. I struggled so badly, so badly. It was such a mental barrier for me to try and get past, missing the camaraderie of, the boys in the club, and getting ready and preparing for that Saturday and the Thursday training and having dinner with everyone. And look, it's just such a lifestyle, and it's such a great, it's a great community. But I had to move on because it just wasn't working for me anymore. So that's my loss when I lost sport, and specifically when I lost one of the biggest things in my life, which was Aussie rules. That's how it hurt me. That was my purpose, especially in sport. And I know there is a lot of men out there who go through this, like a lot of men, and men who play higher levels than I did, and for longer, and have luck and not getting hurt. And that would hurt more. If you were an AFL player for 10 to 15 years, or, rugby player, NRL or whatever, soccer, and you play for all that time, and then all of a sudden that's gone. It's a huge rewiring process on your purpose, and you will find out pretty quickly that you're not just a sports player, you're a human. And I think that's where that becomes quite sticky. Well, it did for me. So I love that. I never really talk much about my footy career because I felt very shameful with a lot of my sport, because I didn't feel like I was being my true self. I was being quite scared in my sporting career. I used to use it as, it was sort of like a regulation, but yeah, I really wish I enjoyed it more than I did. And now that opportunity's gone by, and I don't regret the way I've done everything, but it is what it is, and I can't change that now. I'll try to look at it with grace, but also makes me smile because I know that part of me in that chapter's gone now, and I've moved on to bigger and better things in my life now, in finding myself and finding real purpose and real drive in life. And yeah, it does get better. For people out there who are maybe going through it now, or have gone through it, or in the workings or whatever, it will get better. All I'll say is, try not to go and find something straight away to fill that gap. Try to be with it, because I went and filled it up with all sorts of things, bodybuilding and all that, and I never really sat still and actually worked out who I am as a person. I just kept trying to fill it with external noise. So do as you please. Everyone's experiences are different in life, but if I had my time again, I would have had a little bit of reflection time in between. Question of the day. On me phone, always. Who are you when the jersey or title gets taken away? Pretty much that's the last part of what I just said, is I never knew who I was when my titles and my jerseys got taken off. I didn't feel like I was anyone unless I had those things on. So ask yourself that question and put it in the chat below. Because as men, and even women now, because women are in sport, so anyone in general, but mainly men for me, because this channel's about men, is we do identify heavily, and when we do something, we focus very hard on it, and that also it's an amazing trait, but there's also a falling end to it. There's always, with every beginning, there's an end, and I think most men aren't ready for the end. Or to move on. I wouldn't say the end's a bit blunt, but to move on and find something else, or find yourself. Love you all very much. Have yourself a beautiful day. Yes, I'm in a Kathmandu jacket because it's cold today. Peace.